So this is the first episode on how to do stuff. So in this episode we are going to be talking about how to wire up a standard house outlet. Now, a couple things. First of all, I'm not a certified electrician. What I know about how to run residential electricity is what I've learned throughout the years. So first and foremost, don't use this video and say, hey, well, some electrician told me how to do it. I'm not an electrician. I just know how to do stuff. So I'm going to teach you because it's pretty simple and it's pretty easy. And it's something that, why are you going to pay an electrician $200 to put in a new outlet when you can do it for $2? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Second of all, don't be afraid of doing this. Like I said, it's simple, it's easy. But do be afraid of electricity. It will hurt you a lot. You can't use words that I want to use right now because freaking YouTube. But yeah, it will hurt you a lot and or make you stop enjoying life. No, we'll just put it that way. So make sure your breaker's cut off. I do recommend buying one of those AC ones that tell you if there's power to the circuit or not. But easiest way, plug in an outlet if you're swapping, or plug in a lamp if you're swapping out the outlet, and just go start killing your breakers till that light shuts off. And then you should be okay. But with all that said, let's get into actually how to do this. So, on a residential plug, oh wait, one more thing. I have no clue what your building codes are, so look up your building codes first. Some building codes say that you have to use 12 gauge, 10 gauge, some will allow you to use 14. This is a 14 gauge plug and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But double check your building codes, make sure that whatever you're redoing is up to spec. Also, with that said, if you're using, replacing your plug anywhere near water, you have to use a GFI. I'm pretty sure that's nationwide now, that if the plug is near sink, you have to use a GFI. This is just to replace a standard outlet. So, with all that said, let's get into how to do this. So, first things first, if you're replacing a plug, or if you're installing a new plug, you're going to have a piece of Romex wire. And this is a standard 12 gauge Romex, nothing special about it. It's 3 wire, which means there's a power, a neutral, and a ground. And the power one's going to be black, the neutral one will be white, and the ground will sometimes be green if it has a coating on it, but more times than not, it's just going to be a bare copper wire. Okay, so the way I do this is I will just take a little razor blade knife and very gently, not a lot of pressure, just cut right down the center and then make it a T. Just cut that way, cut that way. And the reason I do this is so I'm actually not putting the razor blade directly on the wires on the inside. And then I just peel this back and cut off the excess. Then in Romex there'll be a piece of paper insulation on the inside. You're going to want to pull that back as well, which will show you the 3 different wires that are on the inside: the white, the ground, and the black. And then on the ground there's another little piece of insulation, and you can just pull that back and cut that off as well. Now for stripping the internal wires, on the back of your outlets, which I'm not sure if you can see very well, but right here there's a stripping guide. Just tells you how much you should strip insulation off. And that guide is actually for these holes. So these holes are quick connect holes. Because this is a 14 gauge outlet, we're not going to be able to use these today. But if you had 14 gauge wire, you could follow this strip guide right here, strip the wire that far, and literally just push it into that hole on the correct side. Now on an outlet, this is labeled, and all outlets are, but the rule of thumb is gold is for power, silver is for ground. Or no, not ground, for neutral. Make sure you make that the neutral. But also, there's a nice little picture on here that tells you what side to put what color wire. It doesn't even tell you that it's a ground or it's neutral or it's power. It just says put the white wire here, put the black wire here, put the green or copper wire over here. But the back of all outlets, for as long as I can remember, are labeled. But this stripping guide is also a good rule of thumb for if you're having to use the screws. Another side note is the reason that there's 2 screws and 2 holes per side is for running outlets in series. So you could bring power to one outlet and then jump off the secondary screw right here or right here and run another outlet, so you don't have to pull multiple cables from your breaker box. But okay, so let's go ahead and strip these. And these say, go ahead and line this up for you. Just strip off about an inch. And that's usually what I do anyway. So let's go ahead and strip those. So to strip the wires, I have this cool little stripping tool. And on this side, it has all the different gauges. And all you gotta do is put the wire in there and it strips it. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so I have the wire in the 12 gauge stripping spot, and then literally all you do is squeeze the handle and it strips the wire for you.
Damn.
Simple as that. If I can pull the rest of it off. There we go. Okay, so now that we have the wire stripped, here's a good little tip and trick. Take your screwdriver, wrap the wire around your screwdriver, and just use it to bend over to make a nice little hook, just like that. And this is for when you're using the screws. It also might help to use a pair of pliers as well. And then all you gotta do, really straightforward, unscrew one of your screws. Well, actually we'll use the top screw. So that's the way you're supposed to do it. And then black to gold. And make sure that when you get it in there, that your wire is going in on one side, out on the other, and does not come and overlap anything anywhere else. There's little guide rails basically for where your wire goes. And then you just tighten it down. Now, this I did a little sloppily because we were just doing it for the video. You shouldn't have any insulation touching the screw. This should be all bare wire, so it makes a good solid contact with your screw. I'll just flip it around, do the other side. Okay, so all you gotta do is put the white wire around its corresponding screw, screw it down, again making sure that there's no insulation touching the screw. Your wire should be stripped back to that line essentially right there. Again, I know I'm not doing this, but I'm unplugging this in. So, and then on your ground wire, you should put a loop on it. I never do. Do not take that as something that you should do, because that is the wrong way to do it. But as long as you have a connection, you should be somewhat safe. The proper way to do it though is to put a loop on it just like you did on the other 2 wires, and make sure that not only do you have a mechanical connection, you have a friction connection as well. That's what makes that safe. This will work. This will carry a short out. If the outlet gets grounded out, it will bring it back to the box, but 100% this is the improper way to do this. So do not follow what I just did. Take the words, not the picture. But anyways, that is one wired outlet. So for a 98-cent outlet and 5 minutes worth of your time, you can save $200 by not having to call an electrician.